The production of this show follows the Lorma College's health and safety protocols. Hosts not wearing masks are appropriately distanced, and all on-site crew have proper safety equipment on set. The Lorma Channel. The production of this show follows the Lorma College's health and safety protocols. Hosts not wearing masks are appropriately distanced, and all on-site crew have proper safety equipment on set. The Lorma Channel. The production of this show follows the Lorma College's health and safety protocols. Hosts not wearing masks are appropriately distanced, and all on-site crew have proper safety equipment on set. The Lorma Channel.
Good morning, LORMAnians, and welcome to our special episode of LORMAnians Today, your resource center for the amazing LORMAnian experience. I am Jeremel Hernandez for the second episode of Lorma's virtual art gallery tour, entitled Art Walk 2021, Nature in Art and Art in Nature. Before we start, we would of course like to acknowledge the presence of our dear President, Dr. Caroline Macagba, and of course, our academic heads who always support the programs of the school. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this morning. So our special guests for today are the creative minds behind, of course, the environmental dance film of Bari-Bari, or in Filipino, it is coined Tabi-Tabi po. So this was played at the International Film Festival in Germany, so you know that it's something to look forward to. So let us all welcome its writer, Miss Aya Torrado, its cinematographer, producer, and co-director, Mr. Chino Neri. So good morning, Miss Aya, and good morning, Sir Chino.
Hi, good morning. Magandang umaga po. Hi,
Good morning,
Jeremy,
Miss Aya.
and also Lorma Channel, students, teachers. Thank you for this opportunity to be here.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hello po also,
Good to
Sir
be
Chino.
here. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Miss Aya and Sir Chino, for giving us the opportunity to know more about the creative minds behind, of course, Bari-Bari. So again, we would like to extend our gratitude for you joining us today. So how are you this lovely morning po, Miss Aya? You are looking fresh and beautiful po.
Okay naman, nandito sa bahay. And it's a new day. It's a Tuesday. So, natuwa din ako makita the first time ng Lorma Channel. So, and also from backstage, I was seeing all the backstage scenes that was shot by Lorma Multimedia. So, good job.
Yes, Miss. And I'm sure that we will learn more about all those behind the scenes. And also, good morning to you, Sir Chino. May I know where you are right now po for this interview?
Hello. I'm also in La Union. We're actually in the same house, just different devices.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Mhm.
both of you are the
Ako naman
comfort of
medyo
your own
haggard
home.
kasi
So
medyo kakaahon ko na. Mm.
it's okay, sir. You also look very fresh, fresh from the sea, something like that.
Fresh
So
from the sea. That's true.
I think I am so also very excited. Yes,
Mm.
sir. So tell us all about Very Very Miss Aya. It's actually a very different kind of film in comparison to the other. So what inspired you to create this kind of environmental film?
So it started with company Christoph Winkler. So he's an established choreographer based in Berlin. And then he's making this website called Environmental Dances website, wherein he got an institutional grant. And from there, when you enter the website, you see the map of the whole world. And what he wanted, Sana, is per country where you geotag and click, you'll be able to see a contemporary dance in that country that is also related to environmental regeneration or climate crisis. That kind of has that, messaging or process. So, ayun, so we only met through the pandemic and through, common networks. In 2016, I was to Frankfurt and also Belgium and different parts of Germany to um, see shows and from there yun. Um, so ayun, and then also I'm a good friend of Lorma, whose work is really around using recycled and upcycled materials so that he could make wearable art and sometimes set designs, sometimes public installation na malalaki. And it just so happened that last May, he's visiting here and then decided to stay. And ayun, napaka-comfortable din that I'm a close collaborator with Chino Neri, so we've worked in some films, so mostly short films and short dance films in the past. So when this project came, parang, oh sige, parang I knew that I'm collaborating with Chino and also Leroy. And at the same time, I wanted to be able to share this project with local dancers, those who are based here. And and also it's something about the sea and the forest here and the places here that I love seeing and in my own small way to contribute kahit through awareness. Let's live in ways that are gentle to the planet. Let's try to remember that plastics are living from 400 to 1,000 years. But then at the same time, in my head, how can if we hate plastic, like, is it dead? Gonna go away. So, ayun, parang always been inspired with beauty. Like when I think of art and art making, parang it has something to do with beauty. And so this is what this film series is trying to attempt. Right now, ang natapos pa lang at saka yung nasa library of Norma is the first episode, which we have shown at 54 International Film Festival last month. So if you haven't seen Bari-Bari or this episode, you can go and catch it. By next week, we have all 7 episodes, and we're so excited to also show it ano, to Doc Carol and also to the community. So ayun, yun yung based on my side. How about Chino?
Yeah, so sorry, can you repeat the question? Is there baka may follow-up question si ma'am. And
Oh yes, Sir Chino. For that one po, Miss Aya, it's actually a good thing when you combine two forms of art. You have contemporary dance and of course film to send a message po when it comes to how can you reduce po plastic waste. So thank you so much po for that one, Miss Aya. For Sir Chino, I was actually quite captivated when it came to the cinematography of the film. So can you tell us also, of course, considering that it has some episodes, what were some of the what do you call this, or the duration? How long did it take for you to finish filming the film from start to finish po?
yeah, so it took in total of 3 days. Um, I worked with really, really good cinematographers. In their names are Anjo De La Cruz and Jerome Abirin. So they helped me film and make this whole thing come to life. Very talented cinematographers, locals of this place here in La Union. I'm blessed to be able to work with such very talented and skilled and well experienced cinematographers. Uh, yeah, so we filmed for 3 days, 3 separate days. The first day was filmed in Lorma, which consisted of, as you're seeing here in the screen, of the dancers of Lorma and the dancers that we invited, professional dancers also that we invited, who are also visitors of this place. So yeah, it took 3 days. It was a fun 3 days. Um, we segmented the filming by location. So one in Lorma, the second day we filmed at the beach here in the Lumpinas Oeste, where actually most of the materials that's been used here in the film were collected by the Lumpinas Oeste Eco Rangers doers, which is like a small, well, it's a community initiative who picks up trash here in our coastline in the Lumpinas. So I'm very grateful for them for helping us and contributing to this project by providing the materials used for the costumes. And then the third day was because this dance film has also interviews of the people who contributed for the to the costumes, which is the Filipinas Eco Oeste Eco Rangers, and some of the our neighbors here were also interviewed in the third day. So yeah, yeah, and so that's how we kind of
Yes,
that's how it
sir.
took
Mm-mm.
to compile this film. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think that's a good
And
that's a
I want
very
to just
well. Yes, Miss Aya.
na ayun, so interesting din i-share na even though 3 days yung filming, yung post-production or editing yung mas we really have taken our time um, because we wanted to not to make a usual, documentary, yung parang ganyan, but rather how to play with humor and also, of all the clips that we have, how to really trim it down, what are the really essentials. Kasi parang per episode, it's gonna be maximum of 3 minutes only. And we wanted sana na if you watch one episode, parang you kind of see the essence of it. You get something, but then at the same time, if you watch the whole series, you see how it's threaded together. It's woven together. So we really taken our time in terms of post processing and editing, and ayun, and we learned a lot. And I think a nice promise is after the whole 7 episodes are posted on the environmental website of Christoph Winkler this November or December, kasi he's also thinking of moving it at a later date, is that we're looking at other film festivals internationally, either for the arts or for arts or environment, to really post this and promote this on their platform.
Mm.
Right. So for that one, Miss Aya, how did you come up or how did you landed on the title of Bari-Bari? Of all the titles or of all the phrases that one could have chosen, what is significant about Bari-Bari as the title?
I would like to share that there was one time, I think last year, that we were hanging out with Dr. Carol, and it's up in the mountains. And then I think I asked her, what is Ilocano for tabi po? Yung, so that's sort of yung just pay respect, ganyan. And yeah, and then she said, bari-bari. So sabi ko, "Ah, okay, that's interesting." And then months after, when I'm trying to conceptualize kung ano gagawin namin for this film, I don't know, ang lakas ng pakiramdam ko towards the title, Bari-Bari. Kasi ano, I guess me and most of our collaborators are very aware that we're mga dayo sa Luzon who have later on migrated here and found home here. And then at the same time, um, yung plastics, I mean, all of these alien-looking, plastics, and then parang some background at pinagalawan is natural surroundings and this land, too big. And at the same time, yung pag-play with um, medyo traditional earth times and also contemporary and queer na like voguing language. So parang ano, gusto sana namin paano mag-bridge yon together and how it could be a way of we mean to respect no harm, yung parang ganyan. We mean to actually unite these seemingly opposing forces or ideas. Ayun.
Ayan, there, Miss Aya. I think your intuition spoke well because now the title of Bari-Bari makes more sense now. That it is to pay respect, of course, to the nature and, of course, to bridge what are in contrast. And so, thank you so much for that one, Miss Aya. For Sir Chino, considering that it consists of some episode, what were some of the difficulties or the challenges that you had to face in the filming or in the production of Bari-Bari po?
Hmm. Well, of course, the pandemic made it a little bit more challenging for us to film the way it would usually. Well, like yeah, the filming process was because we had to go through the protocols and uh, yeah, it's just a lot of navigating through that. That's one, but it also helped us all of these challenges, like bringing people together, having to navigate in a way where not too many people are in the set, and also minimizing the crew.
Mm.
But yeah, usually challenges are able to create limitations that allow us to find more creativity in that limitation. So I'm grateful for that as well. Um, yeah, and also since this film is more of a free flowing, intuitive type of storytelling, uh, in the post production, there are challenges in terms of um, how do we make the story, or how do we communicate the story more effectively moving forward, because basically we had a plan, but the plan is also to have more to have spaces in where there's there's room for intuitive decisions um, during the post-production process. So hindi siya talaga yung parang we have a script and then we'll follow that and that's it.
Mm.
So it's more of, okay, this is what we want to see. This is kind of like the story we want to tell, and then we'll just bring together there's those visuals, and of course when you interview people, you're not really sure exactly about what they're gonna say. So it's only in the post production process where we're able to really bring things together. As much as it's a challenge, it's also something that we enjoy, because you know we
Mm.
we always, for me personally, I always like leaving room for surprises, to surprise myself, and actually,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, to have room for that and surprise and delight, and seeing more things that I don't really fully expect. So, but also, coming out with something that I personally enjoy watching repeatedly. That's like one of
Mm.
the main things that I've been being more conscious of in terms of creating films, or creating anything that's creative. Um, para as much as I have that conscious decision, or I'm more conscious of, okay, if I'm gonna go into this project, and the output should be something that I really enjoy watching repeatedly. Um, yeah, it's more for
Mm.
myself, and then if I enjoy it, then I'm happy, and then I hope that everyone else would enjoy it as well. So
Well, I think for the 3 day period that you actually filmed Searchino, there has to be one moment that you consider to be a favorite. And what was your favorite part during the whole filming process po?
hmm. um, lahat naman, it's all my favorite. I enjoyed every time because I'm always just in that present moment whenever we go into a shoot. You know, uh, my favorite times or moments is when we're actually filming whichever scene that is. I always enjoyed it. Um, I particularly enjoy the interviews, hearing what the dancers would have to say. Um, I, you know, it's I wouldn't say that it's just the first day or the second day. Yeah, I would usually enjoy, going into those interviews and hearing and learning about the perspective of whoever we're interviewing. I also really enjoyed, filming the dancers in Lorma because, you have a really nice, huge open space,
Mm.
and it's always delightful to be in those type of spaces where there's so much freedom to, you know, every angle is different, and it's just so wide open, and nature is so abundant in your campus, especially in that forest area. That's really fun to be in.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very
Mm.
solemn. You can hear the
Mm.
birds, and the
Mm.
trees are very alive. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
Yes, sir. I agree with you with that one. The ambience here is actually really different. It's tranquil and very serene po. So while we before we head on to the next interview question, I think our audience can also pose some questions. If you have any thoughts or any inquiries regarding the production of Bari-Bari for Sir Chino and Miss Aya, you can definitely do so in the comment section there in YouTube. Okay. So for this one, I think, Sir Chino, what I got from your answers, especially on your insights, is that spontaneity is actually a very important trait in filmmaking, especially when you said you always live in the moment and that you get different perspectives from those that you're interviewing. And so for that one, one essential element that I got from the film were the costumes. They are actually quite different, and they gave me more of a kind, what do you call that, an elemental warrior kind of vibe. So
Mm.
I'd love to know what was the idea or the inspiration behind such amazing costumes. Often we see that in Hollywood where you have that kind of concept, but what actually uh, transcended from a simple costume to that we see in the film?
Yeah, so we're very, grateful to be able to work with someone so talented in Leroy New. Um, we didn't really, direct him towards, anything. We just asked him to, if you want, let's make costumes for this film. Well, actually it started with, he's been coming here, and he's been wanting to do like a short film, about his alien costumes. So basically, the costumes are alien inspired. He calls them his aliens. It started out in Manila,
Mhm.
aliens of Manila, and now I guess it's the aliens of La Union. Um, so it's very, it's also very, I feel like, it's a very intuitive process for him to be able to come up with this type of designs, and uh, but also I feel like he also took a lot into consideration nature and his experiences here in La Union, just being in nature. Yeah. Maybe Aya also has more of an insight with regards to the question.
Yeah, Mira and I have been collaborating since 2014. So I have Valor Dance Group. And before the pandemic, we were more active as a dance company and touring in the Philippines and also abroad. So when we were starting pa lang and I met Leroy, parang yun na yung collaboration namin. Him to make wearable art that dancers could use. And then back then, we had a production na sa Meta Theater, another production the next year sa Portugal Center of the Philippines. Or kung siya naman yung may project with art fair, Philippines or some galleries. And even when he had opening exhibitions in Belgium where I went. So, ayun, parang talagang he makes wearable art. He collaborates a lot with dancers. Kasi ang interesting talaga nung yung works niya, naa-anime yung katawan. So yun, Aliens of Romance is an ongoing project. And everywhere he goes, he just meets aliens. He is inspired by mythologies, and also um, world building that we could see ganyan through his works. We talked a lot, in terms of conceptualizing this thing, Chino and Leroy. So parang um, sabi ko, okay, so there are six main characters. Parang we had to make it distinct kung saan sila galing or at least parang etong isa, nakikita ko talaga siya in a forest or puno. Tapos etong isa, yung magiging business inspired by Ilocana Inisudi or yung isa naman ay binasuan or yung isa is bandian. So, yun. But madali na lang kausap si Leroy because we trust, that he will just make it intuitive. And ayun, tas lahat ng bote na ginamit is galing sa beach cleanups ng Dalumpinas OST Eco Rangers. Actually, exciting na mapanood din ni Norma lahat ng episodes kasi yung first episode is really just patikim or parang introduction of characters. Um, so, ayun.
Well, it's nice to know, Miss Aya, that you and Sir Leroy go a long way back. I think in the film industry, it's nice to have someone whom you can count on for when it comes to even in the costume design. Po. So one interesting thing that I've noticed po about the costumes is that they are quite different. What do you call this? You will not find a costume that is similar in comparison to the others po. So, do the costumes reveal anything about the character po? Or is there a
Mm.
deeper meaning behind such designs po?
Yeah, actually, the six costumes are inspired by different things. So, yung isa is, puno talaga. So, yung nasa forest siya. Yung isa naman is more of parang, sabi na nila, parang herbs, and may buyan. So, may buyan is this Bagobo goddess in our Filipino myth. And then she has marami siyang protrusive breasts. And then yung isa is more just if you see plastic bottles in the beach floating and then parang gumagalaw pala siya, entity or creature pala siya. Tapos yun, one of the Lorma dancers, binasuan. So instead of glass bottles is plastic bottle. Tapos yung parang yung may ganun sa Filipiniana and butterflies. Yung isa naman sa outdoor theater is Ilocana Inasudi na folk dance. And then the one with colorful na mga plastic caps is from Bendian. So the idea is that six different characters sila coming from different places, or at least they're influenced heavily by six different things. But on the last episode, it's possible for them to dance together in a circle, even though they're so different. So parang yung gist na yun yung nakikita ko sa laon na na-inspire ako. Wala siyang solid identity. La Union as a place, but it's the people gathering together, coming from different place, is part of its identity. Tsaka nakaka-inspire din yung term na La Union, which is the union. Um, yun, to be in solidarity, kahit na iba-iba tayo, but we share the land. That's deep. Chino, ano
Um,
sabi mo sa costumes?
Thank you, Miss Aya, for that one, for solidifying La Union through the use of costumes and the characters. Do you have anything to add po, Sir Chino, for Miss Aya's answer po?
Um, yeah, I think she said yeah most of the context of where the costumes came from already. Um, yeah, you can continue on with the next questions.
Okay, sir. So for this one, Miss Aya and Sir Chino, are you working on anything right now po behind the scenes? Oh, there, we have a question po. May I view it lang po? Okay, there. So from Fermata, the choreography po, based on the presentation earlier, is quite similar with the native dance of the Cordillerans. I'm curious, what inspired them to come up with the choreography? Oh, so the steps and of course the moves. So for this one po, Sir Chino or Miss Aya, who may answer po for this one?
So, may episode kasi na were inspired by Bendian, which is a dance from Bengue that is a ritual and they're mostly in circles when they do it. And so parang naisip ko na that circle is a good representation of solidarity. So we said, okay, for that episode, why don't we use some steps from the Bendi ritual, but then at the same time, at some point, breaking away from those steps. Kasi nga, ano, um, the idea is to combine the old and the new, plastic and nature, yung parang ganyan. Folk dance and contemporary dance. So, ayun. We've been is for the last episode, mainly mafe-feature, which is from
Okay,
Benguet.
thank you for that. Yeah, yes po. So I think every single episode or every single part of the film will make sense once you finish all of them po. So thank you so much, Fermata, for that question po. So do we have any more questions po from our audience? Okay, there po. So we have another one from Kyla Patricia Andres. So recycled costume with creative design is really beautiful. That also helps to reduce waste like bottles or papers. So thank you for the informative ideas, Sir Chino and Ma'am Aya. Keep inspiring others, Sir and Ma. Okay, so I think Kyla led me to my next question, which is what advice or what message would you like to give Miss Aya and Sir Chino for those Lormanians or for the people who would like to pursue this kind of film or who would like to convey the same message that you have successfully conveyed po?
Sige. Yeah, I can start. For me, what I would want to say is just go with what feels right for you. If you're going to a project or if you have an idea, as long as it feels right, then yeah, go with it. Try not to force yourself to do anything that you feel like there's a lot of resistance or coming from a lot of resistance. Uh, this type of film we were able to do it because it came in easy for us. It wasn't something that we were really trying to get. It just happened. But also there were a lot of work on our end in the start. I've consciously and intentionally um, been wanting to, or at least, uh, yeah, I always had the intention to work on something that I enjoyed, that also would contribute to the environment. So few years back, para I already asked myself, um, how can I sustain myself, or how can I work and contribute to saving and regenerating the environment in the most efficient way. So, and I feel like when I started to ask that question and made it an intention and believe that I can do it, this type of projects that just started to come up for me. Um, so yeah, just you know, find something that you really enjoy. For me personally, I really enjoy contributing to nature, to helping nature thrive because I surf a lot, so nature is my playground. I very informed in terms of how our ecosystem works. So yeah, I just really enjoy creating films that share those information and you know suddenly this type of projects comes up and that I really like doing, working with very talented people. And yeah, siguro yun. Find something that you enjoy and everything's gonna be kind of like popping up and flow with ease, basically. Yeah, that would be my message.
Para sa akin naman, uh, yeah, I want to um, remind everyone and also myself that, like what I said kanina, plastic lives for at least 400 to 1,000 years. And even though we try to segregate, even though we try to do our waste disposal as well as we could, plastic eventually goes to the ocean. And maraming maliliit fishes or malalaki, like, nakakain sa kanila kahit yung mga maliliit at nalalason sila. And if we have one group of fishes or species or sea creatures that die, nasisira yung buong ecosystem. And so, we have the climate crisis that we have now. I think there are ways that we can consciously reduce yung gamit natin ng plastic. At na if a million people could do that consciously because we care that the nature that we enjoy now, ma-enjoy sa ng mga next generation natin ng mga bata, ganyan. That they have good air that they can breathe, that they can also surf and swim, and it's a beautiful co-living with nature, then that's good. So, ayun yung para sa akin. Ang ganda ng sinabi ni Kuya Miguel from Dalumpinas West Eco Rangers. Interview din namin sa isang episode ng Bad na pansin na rin na marami na ring bias sa environment sa mga bata. Like, importanteng mapatuloy yung pagkwento sa mga bata. Um, para lumalim yung pagmamahal sa kalikasan. And, ayun, ayun, ayun lang. Good morning. Will peace.
That's actually a really important message, Miss Aya. I agree with you. I think people can really become more conscious when it comes to their plastic usage and disposal po. So if a million people can do it, I think it would make a really huge impact po. So thank you, Miss Aya. And for Sir Chino po, for those who are watching us right now, so always remember, find something that you enjoy po. So I think that's also really important, Sir Chino, in the pursuit of one's passion. So we have a message from Danica Galapate. So I completely agree with this notion since it benefits the environment in a way that any of us can do. And it encourages people to recycle and rescue the Mother Earth. So that's actually also very true, Danica. I think you and Miss Aya can have a time to talk about that. Okay po. So do we have any more questions? Oh, there. So we have a comment from Sir Jason Paul Ragucos. So recycling offers a lot of benefits like it reduces emissions of greenhouse gases. Very scientific. I like it. Such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. I think I will butcher this one. Ano yun? What's that? Miss Aya. Chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, I'll go back to my science textbook later. That contribute to global climate change. Okay, so there. Thank you for the quick Science 101 lesson, Jason. So we also have from Eman. Eman Agulo. So most of us are aware of the issues of plastic trash. As we strive to limit plastic pollution, converting plastic trash into clothing might be a game changer. I agree, Eman. Maybe we can start with a national or local platforms such as the pageantry, who can of course use that for a more what do you call this, useful, or of course a more environmental kind of message. So thank you, Eman. So do we have any more from Charlene? Okay, Charlene Gakayan. I was astounded at how you made things out of recycled materials while also helping the environment. I agree with you, Charlene. I think that was a very creative way in using something destructive such as plastic. The film was very intriguing. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I couldn't. Can we go back to Miss Charlene's comment? The film was very intriguing. I am from Quirino, and we have those dances at every festival. So yes, I think Miss Aya paid great tribute to all the dances here in our, not just in our region, but from Nicole Bachtal, you bet it does. How recycling benefits the planet. Recycling saves energy and water, lowers pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. Yes, that's actually right. And it also improves air and water. Also, creating new products out of recycled materials. So I think Miss Aya's film, and of course with the help of Sir Chino and Sir Leroy, can help us move forward the use of plastic for that. Elira Angela Estolas. Most of us want to save money nowadays because of the situation that we're facing right now, which is, of course, a pandemic. Therefore, people must keep on recycling materials to save money and lessen pollution. So, one of the greatest advocacies for that one is, of course, to reduce pollution. So, do we have any more comments? So, again, we appreciate you for commenting all those wonderful insights that you have, and of course for the lessons, and of course for the questions as well. So, do we have any more for Sir Chino and Miss Aya? From Eman, this reminds me of my high school days. We also did the same thing po. Gumawa din po kami ng recycled costume before for pageant. That's what I'm talking about. So this is something, Eman, that you've already began when you were young. And I think a lot of people were inspired, Sir Chino and Miss Aya, with this production that you've made po. Although it's not something that you would usually see in the film industry, it doesn't lessen the significance of the film po. So again, thank you, Sir Chino and Miss Aya, for creating Bari-Bari po. So do we have any more for Miss Aya and Sir Chino? Okay. From Raven, recycling reduces greenhouse gases, conservation of energy, saves landfill space, that is of course very important, and reduces your expenditure. Agree. You can save a lot of things when it comes to maximizing the use of plastic waste. Okay. From Hussein El Sayed Ahmed. Hello po, I love the concept of recycling po. But my questions are, okay, did you encounter any conflicts or difficulties in making the cinema and the costumes po? And how did you resolve it? Perhaps we can have one particular situation po where you encountered a challenge of some sort po, Sir Chino or Miss Aya.
Uh, well, in terms of the costume, once the materials are ready, in terms of because Leroy is very skilled, so we didn't have any. I don't think he had any challenges on that. I guess the
Sandali,
one of
Paps, gusto mo ba mag...
the most challenging thing would be cleaning the materials.
Surprise guest.
Yeah, dito si Leroy. Yeah, and he's gonna answer your questions. So question daw dun sa conflict or challenges when creating the costumes, Sir Leroy.
Good po, Sir Leroy.
Eto.
Did you encounter any conflicts or difficulties in making the cinema in
Introduce
the
yourself
costume po?
and at the same time, congrats
And how were you
with
able to
and
resolve
then what are
the
the
challenge
challenges
in the costume?
and the costumes. You can speak now.
Oh, sorry.
Can
I,
you hear me?
I didn't hear the entire question. Kasi they were in the middle of putting
Right?
on.
All right. So, did you encounter, this is from Hussein. So, did you encounter any conflicts or difficulties in making the cinema and the costumes po? And how did you resolve it?
Making the cinema and the costumes. How did you solve it? Um, hmm. I think now when doing new work, there are always challenges. I won't call them conflicts. Kasi like conflict is maybe too strong a word. Pero welcome challenges. Like all new interesting work is an is an attempt to solve an interesting challenge. No? Yeah. So what else? And this is basically what I do for a living. So I look for these challenges, these conflicts that you call. No? We attempt to. The way I work now is I attempt to solve these challenges. I use my um, I use creative production as a means to provide solutions for these challenges, for these concerns, these issues that we want to address.
Okay, thank you so much for that one, Sir Leroy. So, Hussein, I think Sir Leroy addressed and, of course, answered your question. So, Sir Leroy, Sir Chino actually mentioned that one of the difficult parts of creating the costume was the cleaning of the plastic bottle. So, how did you or how were you able to do it po? The cleaning, was it very thoroughly, or did you have a particular method in the cleaning of the plastic bottles for the costume?
Yes. To save water, I would shower with the bottles. I'm kidding. Uh, no, I mean, it's not, yeah, dugyot kasi akong tao. So, sanay na ako sa ganun. So, um, yeah, with this type of work, it's not exactly glamorous. Um, so, I mean, I'm not averse to like handling things that may be dirty or whatever. It's part of the challenge of using recyclables. No, you don't expect them to be clean, so it's already set in my head. Part of the work is the collection, the negotiations, the cleaning, yun. And yeah, so ano lang. Malaking timba lang kailangan mo at sabon, yun lang yun.
Okay, sure. So you have to know what you signed yourself for. Okay po. Thank you po, sir.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you po, one. Okay po. And then for this one po, Sir Leroy, I think Sir Chino and Miss Aya already conveyed their message po in their certain field of expertise. So for you, Sir Leroy, what kind of message would you like to give for those people who are aspiring, of course, let's say, for example, in the field of costume designing? How can they start, or
Mhm.
what would you like to give them as an advice, as a fuel in this
Uh,
kind of inspiration?
so if you're an aspiring plastic bottle washer, joke lang. No. I think when I was growing up as an aspiring creative, it was very different compared to the generation now. Before there was very limited access to information, to the interests that we were drawn to, like visual art, dance, theater. But now I think it's very different. Almost everyone can easily can access the internet and access information, YouTube, etc. Lahat ng instructionals nandoon na. Wala kami noon dati. Pero medyo nakahabol naman kami, yung generation.
Mm.
um, so yun. So really, if you're interested in it enough, you will find the ways to make it work. That's what I found when I was starting out. I did, didn't have too many sources for creativity, art, design. So I had to be resourceful in looking for my sources, of inspiration, of art. Um, you know, I had to be creative in seeking out these sources that would inspire me. But now it's so much easier. So, to type mo lang, di ba? At lalabas na. So really, one could say that there's it's become easier to find models, existing models, people who you can learn from. There are so many testimonials, instructionals online. So, yun. Baka, maybe I sound like a tito. pero, pero that's the thing that I've noticed. So, yun. Essentially, if you're really invested in it enough, you're passionate in it enough, you're interested in it enough, you will find the way.
Thank you, Sir Leroy. I think from that one we can get that being resourceful really force you to be creative po, because you don't have any other means. So thank you for that one, Sir Leroy. We actually have a question from Sir Kent Cyril Campit. So the concept of recycling plastic bottles while also demonstrating the artistic skills of the general public. But my question is, after this video, where will the recycled costume go? So right now they are of course in the CLI building of Lorma. But for this one, Sir Leroy, Sir Kent would love to know, where will the recycled costume go for?
Susutin ko sa pure gold. Joke. No, the costumes usually are, more or less permanent in the sense that we keep them for future use, for future performances. And then, yeah, with the costumes kasi we don't throw them away. Kasi we know that they can be exhibited, they can be collected, they can be reused for future performances. Pero with other projects where we use plastic bottles, we just return them to the recycling centers. We make sure they're disposed of properly. Uh, uh, and they're really just a small amount, compared to the amount of trash that's being produced by the rest of society. So, totoo na the question of if we're making a dent, by using like small amount of plastic bottles, kailangan talaga systemic yung pag-address ng issue of production of trash. It becomes naibabalik dun sa who produces the trash. Kasi like these small creative initiatives, the truth is it makes very little dent. Talaga it has to do with policy and a large scale transformation of how we consume products, what products we use, etc.
Okay, so there, Sir Ken, I hope that Sir Leroy answered your question. I think he was more than informative in answering that one. So, any more questions or comments po for our three creatives? Okay, I think we have. Do we have? Okay, I think not. Okay, from Dave Lee Suarez, recycling helps in our current situation, which is the pandemic. It saves resources efficiently and effectively, as well as landfill space, and contributes to a sustainable system. I think that's the end goal, to provide a more sustainable system and environment for everyone. So for this one, Miss Aya, Sir Chino, and Sir Leroy, Normacologists would really love to thank you for giving us your time and for also sharing us your expertise, your experience when it came to your creation po of Bari-Bari. So for this one, I think we can agree that you really are, the three of you po, thank you, what do you call this? For the trio, for giving us, of course, the inspiration for us many Filipinos here, and of course to the Lormanian community. So again, we really look forward to collaborating more with you, and we can say that you are the Lorma's pride, or of course a Filipino pride. So thank you so much po. So for those of you who are curious to know how you can watch the first episode of Bari-Bari, the series is actually being filmed, or is actually can be viewed here at Lorma College's San Juan campus. So it's from November 8 to 12, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, from November 8 to 12, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So of course, you have the option of viewing the film by yourself or with your friends. Just be sure to follow our safety protocols. So the venue is here at the CLI building at San Juan campus. And of course, it can accommodate up to a maximum of 10 people. So again, up to 10 people only per viewing. So be sure to watch it while you still can. Okay, so for this one, I think we'll be saying goodbye for now, or see you next time to Sir Chino, Ma'am Aya, and Sir Leroy. So stay tuned, Lormanians, for part two of our next episode, because we'll have there the faculty and of course the Sanduli dance troupe who joined the environmental dance film of Bari-Bari. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. So we will be having more interesting conversations and information with our fellow Lormanians. So stay updated for our more amazing content. So this is Lormanians Today, your resource center for the Lormanian experience.